if you ever did get smacked in the head with one of those things, you'd want to be wearing a second skull, which is the cap that you have. You like that segue?
Good segue.
I knew I was going to get there.
Huh? You want? I'll just hold it up. This one looks great. This one looks like my brain. If I didn't have hair and a skull over everything, flesh, my brain would look like this, only lighter. I'm sure of it. Because it looks,
brains are pink.
You can't probably see this in high def, but it's like the skull looks like.
You mean it's like the brain looks like?
The brain looks like.
Here, Russ, take it away. Why don't you explain to us?
I just wanted to
explain to us here. Hand me that piece of paper so you can't look. Okay. Explain to us what second skull is, Russ.
Second skull is like having a skull over the skull you already have, because if you're playing football,
And what's the technology?
or your wife likes to smack you with a walk, I'm just saying.
What's the technology, Russ?
The technology, hold on. The technology is there's chips in there. So when I get hit in the head, boom.
I got one thing.
Some guy, Kevin, I believe.
Yes, Kevin Lynch is here. Kevin Lynch is actually the guy that knows about this. Kevin, I'm so sorry that you had to do that. Nothing of what Russ said was actually accurate. Which is Kevin Lynch is the vice president of Second Skull.
Yeah.
The only thing he got right about that is it's a head protection wear. That's the only thing he got right.
He got the second skull part pretty close too, so he got some of it right.
Okay, so first of all, welcome to San Diego. Where are you guys based out of?
We're based out of Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That is correct.
Concussion technology has been front and center. Obviously, you've heard about this in the NFL. A company by the name of Visus has tried out some of their products in the NFL to some criticism, so on and so forth. This is an ongoing problem because youth sports, participation in youth sports, specifically contact sports, is waning because of parents' concern for head injuries. So it's not just the NFL, it's everybody that's got to be concerned about it. Talk about how you guys got into this and what you guys are doing about it.
Right. Well, the one thing to be clear, nobody can stop concussions.
Sure.
So everything that we're doing is to minimize impact and injury to get to that point.
Right.
But there's nothing that you can do.
Well, I'll tell you. Look, at both of my daughters were recruited to play college volleyball, and they it's a non-contact sport. My younger daughter, who was probably went further in the sport, had not one but 2 concussions in volleyball her freshman year. No longer, before she graduated, she stopped playing her. But this is a pervasive issue, and anything we can do to prevent or at least help help the process, right?
Right, and the company was started by the founder who saw his son wreck on a bicycle and the helmet broke.
Right.
And he was like, "What can I do to make that better?" Now that we've been in the business for 3 years, we know some of that is that the helmets are designed to dissipate energy. So. But
in other words, when you hit, they're supposed to explode.
Right, a little bit.
Yeah, a little. It looks like a bumper, right? Like on a car, correct?
But he said that there needs to be something better. So he didn't know exactly what. He watched Cam Newton come out of the tunnel, and he said, "That's it. I can put protective material in a normal skull cap and add an extra layer there."
Well, so Cam Newton.
That's like this one.
Right.
But now, inside of every football helmet, going back all the time, there's always some sort of padding in there.
Right.
And I think normally people are going to look and say, okay, so what's the difference?
Right. There's 2 millimeters of Poron XRD. It's a super absorbent material in there, and it actually does 2 things. One, which, like in all kind of cool inventions we didn't know when it was made, there's 2 types of force that hurt you. Linear, which would be taking a hammer and hitting the outside of the football helmet and that energy going through to your head.
Okay.
The second is a rotational impact.
Oh, sure, right.
And that's on the side. We had no idea that improved it. We took it to Europe. They're way ahead of us with motorsports. The scientist over there said he's not interested unless it does both. But in his hypothesis, he said it was one of those moments where I can't believe I didn't think of it. We put it on. We've tested it. It improves dramatically both linear and rotational impact on basically any helmet we can't say any helmet because we haven't tested them all, but for horseback riding, to hockey, to
but that's
lacrosse,
interesting though,
to baseball.
Because you bring up an important point there. Because I think everyone in this country anyway thinks of football. That's concussion football, but it's way more than that. I mean, look, I'm a recreational cyclist, and give me a chance to talk about Challenge Athletes Foundation. And Bill Walton, myself, several other folks ride from San Francisco to San Diego every year on their bicycles. I was hit by a car a couple of years ago, and I will tell you, every category that this is in is interesting because you just think of this one sport, but if you start thinking of like your founder whose kid fell on a bike, or the horseback rider, or the skateboarder, or even the head injuries that just happen in every hospital sees every day. I mean, at some point, there's an enterprise-wide solution you guys are attempting.
Right,
to get
and as you alluded to before I came on, there's 4 verticals. We're in sports because we're small. We started in sports. There's industrial, which we're selling now to Fortune 500 companies.
I didn't even think about that.
We're
Wait a
like-
minute, stop there. What's industrial?
Under your hard hat?
Well, like think about on the production line where the helmets fall off, that doesn't because it's compressive.
Yeah.
In really tight spaces like in airplane wings, they use them. And we're actually in the process. We're almost there. There's no standards for bump caps in the United States, but there's a European standard. We're almost there. We're going to have our other prototype built.
interesting?
Here's an idea,
This
too.
whole thing, this a big portion of their business is about you bumping your head.
Right.
Right.
Tall men on submarines.
Right.
Exactly.
Changing the oil on your car, laying on the ground in your garage. You know, in your
When's the
baseball
last time
cap
you hit
hits
your
the
head?
tap.
When's the last time you hit your head?
Oh, the other day, coming out of the stupid closet that I forgot was an angled one. I went in and boom.
I think we should just wear it all the time.
I know.
Make it like a fat, because you know.
Let's put hair on it.
There's 2 things I hate. I hate when somebody tries to pluck something.
Yeah.
And I hate hitting my head. I hate, like, nothing hurts more than you hit, but we're not just talking about prevention here. We're talking about, there's real science behind it.
Yeah,
So
there's real science. And
let's move over to the thing that looks like a brain here, because when we come back, I want to have Kevin take you through this proprietary technology that he has and his team
Feels
has.
good, though.
Well, I'll tell you.
That's the weird part. I would wear this skiing. Like if I'm skiing, I'll put this under my little snow bonnet, whatever it's called.
You don't need to. Just wear that.
You're right. And then when I get back to the lodge,
You look like a Sherpa.
yeah,
Looks good. And it really, this could be a thing, by the way.
like a religious.
I think the kid that shows up at school with one of those things, like camo color.
Here we go. Ready? Didn't hurt at all.
By the way, if you want to go to see the website, we're going to have more of Kevin in a minute. SecondSkull.com. That's 2ndskull.com is our website.
I'll bring the
More
spot down
Kevin.
on my head. Listen.